The last three on my top 10 favorite slasher movies, they're going to be on DVD for two reasons, probably. One, I haven't replaced them on Blu-ray yet, or they are not out on Blu-ray yet. So, one of which that I do not think is out on Blu-ray yet, and this one's going to be another shocker why people are going to say this, or why people might say, why is that on his list? I don't understand it. The first original Slumber Party Massacre. I do have the triple feature pack here in the Roger Corman Cult Classics line. It's being re-released by the Shout Factory. Highly recommend the original. It's just one of my favorites from growing up. We rented it a lot from the video stores. It's just kind of got that addictive quality to it, that real gritty, low budget, get out there guerrilla filmmaking, get out there and make a movie quickly kind of feel to it. It's got that iconic cover art there. I'm so glad they retained that on the DVD release here. Slumber Party Massacre original. A lot of people love the sequels to this a lot more than the original. I like the sequels, but I like the original more, mainly because I just like watching it. I watch it every year at Halloween. It's like one I have to drag out every year, so. And it's a go-to one too. I can watch it because of its low budget quality in the movie. The Killers leaves a little bit to be desired. He's not really, in my opinion, one of the most imposing or scary killers, but the drill and the special effects are competent for the film and its budget, so it's a little addictive one that I always like to stick on my top 10 list or go-to list, whatever. Here's one that is another twofer, capitalizes on a holiday season, and also one of those that's very addictive. You got to have it in the list. Black Christmas, I would call it a now slasher classic by Bob Clark. I always enjoyed watching Black Christmas, either at Christmas time, Halloween, or just about any time of the year. Got a great characters in it: Margot Kidder, John Saxon, to say a couple of them, Keir Dullea, Olivia Hussey, however you say her name, I can't remember. But it's got great special features on this disc. It is out on Blu-ray now, but I heard the Blu-ray transfer is not real great, so I'm waiting for a good deal on it. So, Black Christmas got one of the scariest killers, telephone calls going on in this one. Great characterizations. I love how they handled the killer in this movie. I'm not going to give a whole lot away if you've never seen it. If you've never seen Black Christmas, stop this video now. Come back and watch it later, but stop this video now. Go rent it, watch it, Netflix it, however you do it. You've got to see Black Christmas at least. Come on, guys. If you've been hiding under a rock like that Geico commercial, you've got to get out from under that rock, guys. Watch Black Christmas. It's one of those great addictive favorites. You've got to see it. Here to round out my 10th spot on my list, guys. This one is one of those I don't think it's out on Blu-ray yet, but for sheer fun factor, one that I can watch just about any time. It's another twofer. It is, of course, April Fool's Day. It's in a triple pack with Tales from the Dark Side movie that came out a while back, and Stephen King Graveyard Shift movie. But most importantly, April Fool's Day with Amy Steele and a couple of other people you've seen in other movies. It's just one of those, it was a cable favorite from HBO time frame growing up, and video store as well. It's just one of those I watched incessantly growing up. It's just a fun movie. Now, the special effects aren't on par. They have some great special effects in the movie. They're not on par with some of the other ones that I've seen, in my opinion. It does have some scary, it's very highly atmospheric. It's not the best slasher film by far, but it's one of the most watched in my cadre or my catalog. I just have to go for it either for goofing off on April Fool's Day or 1st of April, or if I just want to have an extra one to watch around Halloween. April Fool's Day never really disappoints, I'll say it that way. Now, I'm going to break the rules, guys. Far be it for me to follow the rules. I can't ever follow the rules. There's so many great slashers, guys. I decided to be devious for a second, throw in 5 extra runner-ups in no particular order, and I should say that before I got into this whole listing thing. I don't rank any of these slashers in any particular order. I love them all the same. I love slasher genre, so I had to put in 5 runner-ups, guys, mainly because there's so many good ones out there, and there's so many go-to ones that I watch all the time that I feel like the required reading category at the first of my top 10 list kind of pushed those out the door. So I'm going to throw these in real quickly here at the end. This was a recent acquisition, Maniac 30th Anniversary Edition. If you want to buy a Maniac, pick up this edition. I recommend this as much as the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Whatever they've done to this little 16mm movie, they've cleaned it up. It's got a soft glow around it just like it did in its original release, but it looks 10 times better on Blu-ray, guys. This edition right here especially looks great. It sounds great. It was a really fly-by-night guerrilla filmmaking, ultra-low budget movie. Savini effects in this one are awesome. Highly atmospheric movie too. The way excuse me, I always want to call him Frank Zito, but that's his character in the movie. I'm sorry, Joe Spinell portrays this movie. It was a labor of love on his behalf. He produced it. I think he wrote it. He was really a co-producer on the film. He was really highly involved with the project. I hear tell he even stole the camera for some of the little insert shots in the movie and like went around town just filming things without permits and things like that. So highly recommend this edition. It's got all the same special features as the previous Blue Underground DVD had on it, the Joe Spinell story. That and new special features. The new interviews are all shown in HD as well, guys. I can't say that enough. This was a recent Blu-ray purchase. It's on a 50 gig disc. They really fill it up. Looks great, sounds great. Maniac, it was just a runner-up. I didn't put it on my top 10, but I felt bad, so I had to throw it in there. Here's another go-to favorite that I just watch every Halloween for some odd reason. I have to have it in there. It's not the best slasher film, but it made it on the runner-up list. Hell Night with Linda Blair. It's just a straight-up slasher film with great atmosphere. Probably not the best special effects ever, but I had to throw it on the list. It's got that iconic cover art where she's trying to get over the gates there. Hell Night. Gotta have it on the list. Here's one that I've grown to love more and more over the years. The boys over at Dead Pit really support this one, especially Creepy Kentuckian. I watched it a bunch growing up, but I never owned it on VHS or anything like that. But until recently, I acquired a used copy of the Anchor Bay original release of Madman, which is kind of a bare bone release. It's got the it's not an anamorphic widescreen transfer. It is in widescreen, but it's I think just sporting a commentary on it. It does have the original way the filters or the lighting or the colorization was done. It's just original. It has the blue nighttime tint to it. I do also have the 30th anniversary edition, which is hard to get for some reason. I don't think they pressed a whole lot of copies of these. I had to reorder it like twice before I actually got my copy. Most importantly on this, it's got about a feature-length documentary about the making. It's got the type of documentary you would want for this type of movie. It's made by the fans, kind of backed by the fans. Even the Dead Pit boys show up in this documentary as well, kind of talking about their love for the film. It's got audio commentary, vintage images and still gallery for the film, TV shots, theatrical trailer. Except it's got this bad reputation already for being colorized. For some odd reason, they colorized about 90% of the film and took away all the blue tint and everything and just kind of made it look more red, more orange. That, to me personally, guys, didn't take away from the overall viewing experience because I've viewed this version of it a couple times. I took it on the road with me a couple times and watched it. I personally, if I'm going to view it at Halloween, I like to watch this version, the Anchor Bay version, because it's the way it was. But for anamorphic widescreen and just kind of, if you're wanting to watch special features, I'd probably go for this version. Anyway, Madman, it's on my list. Got to pick it up if you like slashers. It's one of those really ultra low budget ones that probably won't show up on everybody's list. Here's another more mainstream one, Halloween 2. I had to put it on my runner-up list because it's a straight up slasher, guys. I've always been a firm supporter of Halloween 2. Yes, it's not directed by John Carpenter, but the movie, doggone it, it feels like a John Carpenter movie of that era, early 80s. Mainly because he was producer, he wrote the movie, he did the score for the movie. It just feels, and Dean Cundy did the director of photography because the whole look and feel of the movie, and I like to think that John Carpenter was a little more involved with the movie than he's been known to say he was, because the movie just feels like a Carpenter outing. Halloween 2, I had to put it on my runner-up list. Here's one, the last one on the runner-up list, guys. One that I've kind of grown to love. It's Good in That Bad Way. I had to throw a Good in That Bad Way movie in there. The movie is, of course, Don't Go in the Woods. This is my bare bone release of it, Don't Go in the Woods. But I do have the widescreen re-release by Code Red that's in a double feature with The Forest. Don't really go looking for a great widescreen release of this movie because the movie was shot open frame or square instead of rectangle for layman's terms there, because the movie was shot for the home cable or home video market, and from what I've been told. It did get a theatrical run for a short time on the drive-in circuit, stuff like that. Ultra low budget. Not a lot of people like this movie. It's kind of either a love it or hate it kind of film. Don't Go in the Woods is so bad it's good. It's the whole movie's totally dubbed. It's just one of those you just have to really be in the mood to watch. And I want to put it on my runner-up movie list mainly because I watch it a lot, especially around Halloween, and I didn't feel right not having it on there. Okay, I've talked for long enough. This movie's drawn on way too long, or this video's drawn on way too long. There you have it, top 10 slasher list with 5 runner-up favorites. Rock on, dudes. I'll catch you next time.